it.
This morning, House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy is officially in the race to replace John Boehner as House Speaker. In a letter to his Republican colleague, McCarthy writes, "I am running to be your Speaker because I know that the People's House works best when the leadership you elect listens to members and respects the legislative process. That is entrusted to committees." Congressman McCarthy is on Capitol Hill this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. The question I think many people want to know is, how will you be different than John Boehner? And talking about listening to members, does that suggest that John Boehner was not listening to members?
Look, no, John is a good and decent man and has served this country very well. But one thing that the Speaker does is set the culture. And every culture has changed. This is going to be a generational change. You know, I'm concerned about what I see in Washington. People are very concerned about power and institutions, more so than changing the lives of everyday Americans. That's what fundamentally has to change, getting everybody involved. A lot of people think being Speaker is like a team manager. I view it as a team captain. I'm part of the team. Let everybody engage. Make it bottom up. And the more people engage, the more that committee works, the more that you'll get a better outcome and a solution.
Mr. Leader, won't some of the same lawmakers who challenged Speaker Boehner challenge you?
It very well could, but a lot of them I've worked with. Some of them are supporting me. Look, this is not going to be easy. But what fundamentally has to change when you go across this country and what's being heard, we want to make sure that the people once again believe that this is their government, that they are in charge, that we are there to serve them. Now, that won't happen overnight and it won't be easy, but that's my mission.
President Obama has already said that he will reach out immediately to the next speaker. What is your relationship with the president, Congressman, and do you hope to meet with him on a regular basis if you do, in fact, get this job?
I hope to meet with everybody on a regular basis, no matter from the president down to anybody within Congress and, of course, to the American people. I will work with anybody that's willing to work. We have big problems in this country, and the only way we're going to get it solved is to work together and solve the problems.
I understand that, but what is your relationship with the president right now?
I have a good relationship with the president. I've met him many times. We've been in a few meetings, but as you know, I have not been Speaker, so we have never sat down to negotiate or anything like that. But I have a relationship with him.
The question also is about who will be the number 2 and number 3 people in the House who are in the Republican leadership. Are you supporting any of the candidates who have been running for those 2 top positions?
No, I always think it's healthy that individuals go out and compete on their own, be able to earn those seats on their own, because whoever wins a leader or a whip position, they have to carry out that position in their own name and be able to do it. And so I think that's healthy for a conference, that people don't influence it, that individuals get to sit down, see what the policies are, see what the ideas are, and cast that vote of how they best serve the conference.
Mr. Leader, let me ask you, some in your party are demanding to shut down the government over this Planned Parenthood funding. Would you approve shutting down the government? Is that fight important in order to block the funding for Planned Parenthood?
Look, I don't believe tax dollars should be going to Planned Parenthood. I believe in fighting, but I believe in winning. The continuing resolution that's only a short time here has no funding for Planned Parenthood in it. We're going to set up a select committee to get to the bottom of what's going on there. Anyone that has watched those videos knows there's a concern and a problem, and we've got to get to the bottom of that. National Right to Life asked us not to shut the government down because it'll even set back the pro-life movement. So I think the best thing going forward is if we're able to move, but also get to the problem of what we're finding in these videos.
Do you have enough votes, do you think, to secure this nomination?
I think we'll be successful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nobody.
But here is a point that John Boehner raised in an interview with John Dickerson, that there were people who knew they could not win on a vote, yet they continued to take a hardline position which was destructive in the end.
And he called them false prophets.
And he calls them false prophets. Can you avoid that? Do you have a relationship with the most conservative members of the party so that you can persuade them when it is an unachievable result, not to sit there and fight forever?
Look, I have a relationship with everybody in this conference, and the most important thing is to be willing to listen to them. And it's also important that we all have the wisdom to listen to the American public, but the courage to lead at the end. Look, it's going to take work, time, and trust. So it won't happen overnight, but watch our mission and watch our goal, and watch it that we're successful in the end.
Congressman McCarthy, good to have you on this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.